57 goals for the United States. And 57 goals for the United States. That is not just me repeating myself. Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey finished their international career with the exact same number of goals, but they reached that number in completely different ways. Donovan was the teenage prodigy who became the face of American soccer. Dempsey was the kid from Nacogdoches who became the most prolific American goal scorer in Premier League history. One saw a pass before everyone else, the other saw a goalkeeper slightly off his line and thought, this seems like a good time to chip Juventus. Same goal total, two completely different versions of greatness. So who had the better career? 6 categories, 6 checks, no moving the goalpost halfway through the argument. Evidence over emotion, let's settle it. Landon Donovan arrived first. He was labeled the future of American soccer before most people his age had figured out how to do their own laundry. By the 2002 World Cup, he was 20 years old, scoring in the knockout round against Mexico and helping the United States reach the quarterfinals. Dempsey took a less direct route. College soccer at Furman, the New England Revolution, then Fulham, where he gradually went from interesting American prospect to legitimate Premier League star. Donovan played with speed, vision, and timing. Dempsey played with instinct, physicality, and the confidence of someone who viewed the conventional decision as merely one available option. Donovan helped a team function. Dempsey made a defense uncomfortable. And that brings us to category 1, production. Internationally, the headline is simple. Both players scored 57 career goals. But the rest of the line changes the comparison. Donovan recorded his 57 goals in 157 appearances. He also produced a USMNT record 58 assists. Dempsey scored his 57 goals in 141 appearances and added 21 assists. So Dempsey was the more efficient goal scorer. Donovan was the more productive overall creator. He was not just finishing possessions, he was starting attacks, carrying the ball through transition, delivering the final pass, and then occasionally arriving in the box to finish the move himself. Donovan produced 115 combined goals and assists for the national team. Dempsey produced 78. And no, assists are not a decorative statistic we include because Donovan was polite enough to pass the ball. Creating goals matters. At the club level, the comparison gets more complicated. Donovan finished his MLS career with 145 regular season goals and 136 assists. Dempsey had 72 goals and 42 assists in MLS. That is an enormous advantage for Donovan. But Dempsey also scored 57 Premier League goals with 19 assists. In 2011 and 12 alone, he scored 17 league goals for Fulham, the highest single-season Premier League total by an American player. And we cannot pretend that producing against Manchester United, Chelsea, and Arsenal every week is the same assignment as producing in MLS. It is not, but this category measures the complete body of work. Dempsey has the stronger argument as a pure scorer against elite club competition. Donovan created far more total offense across his club and international career. The first check, maybe controversially, goes to Landon Donovan. For peak, we're using the best 3-year stretch. Donovan's strongest window came from roughly 2008 through 2010. In 2008, he scored 20 MLS goals and added 9 assists. In 2009, he won League MVP. In 2010, he led MLS with 16 assists while also scoring 3 goals at the World Cup. This was Donovan at full power. He could attack from wide areas, play underneath a striker, lead the counterattack, create for teammates, or finish chances himself. At his best, Donovan was not just productive, he gave the entire attack its shape. Now consider Dempsey from 2010 and 11 through 2012 and 13. He scored 12 Premier League goals in the 2010 and 11 season, then 17 the next season, then 7 after moving to Tottenham. That is 36 Premier League goals across 3 seasons, much of it for a Fulham team that was not exactly assembling the Avengers around him. His 2011 and 12 season included 23 goals in all competitions and a second consecutive Fulham Player of the Season award. And he was doing it while moving between central midfield, attacking midfield, second striker, and center forward. The tactical instructions were apparently, Clint, stand somewhere near the attack and make something happen. And he usually did. Donovan's peak was more complete. He was a better creator, a more dangerous transition player, and an elite international performer. But Dempsey's best 3-year stretch came against a more difficult weekly standard, and he produced more goals that American attacking players simply had not produced in England. This is the highest sustained club level peak either player reached. Peak goes to Clint Dempsey. Moving on to accolades. Dempsey won U.S. Soccer's Male Player of the Year award 3 times. He was voted Fulham's Player of the Season in consecutive seasons. He won MLS Rookie of the Year and made the MLS Best 11 twice. That's an outstanding resume. Donovan won the U.S. Soccer's Male Player of the Year award 4 times. He also won the 2009 MLS MVP, the 2008 Golden Boot, 2 MLS Cup MVP awards, and the 2002 World's Best Young Player award. Dempsey's Fulham awards carry significant weight because they came in the Premier League, but Donovan's award cabinet is deeper and covers more stages: MLS, the national team, and the World Cup. When one of the league's major individual awards is eventually named after you, that is usually a decent sign that the category went well. Accolades goes to Donovan. Team success. This is where Donovan begins pulling away. He won 6 MLS Cups, 2 Supporter Shields, and a US Open Cup. Dempsey won 1 MLS Cup, 1 Supporter Shield, and 1 US Open Cup. Donovan did play on stronger MLS teams, particularly with the Galaxy. David Beckham, Robbie Keane, and Bruce Arena were not exactly minor background characters. But Donovan was not being carried by those teams. He was a central figure in multiple championship runs and won the MLS Cup MVP twice. Internationally, both players helped the United States reach the 2009 Confederations Cup final. Dempsey scored against Spain in the semifinal and Brazil in the final. He also became the first United States player to reach the major UEFA men's final when Fulham reached the 2010 Europa League Championship match. That European run matters. So does the chip against Juventus that helped keep it alive. But Donovan also helped the United States reach the 2002 World Cup quarterfinals and was part of 4 Gold Cup championship teams, Dempsey being part of 3. Championships never tell the entire story, but when one player has 6 MLS Cups, an additional Gold Cup, and a deeper World Cup run, the evidence becomes difficult to ignore. Team success goes to Donovan. Longevity. This is the closest category and probably the one most likely to turn the comments section into a small constitutional crisis. Donovan has the raw volume advantage. He earned more international appearances and accumulated significantly more MLS games, goals, and assists. He also became an important national team player at an extremely young age. But longevity is not only about how early a career begins, it is also about how long a player remains effective at the highest level he reached. Dempsey spent 7 seasons in the Premier League, returned to Seattle, and remained dangerous for the national team into his mid-30s. At 34, he helped the United States win the 2017 Gold Club and scored his 57th international goal. He retired at 35 after dealing with injuries and an irregular heartbeat. Donovan's main career effectively ended earlier. He initially retired after the 2014 season at 32, later returning for abbreviated stretches. Donovan lasted longer on the calendar and accumulated more total production. Dempsey remained a high-level first-choice scoring threat later in his career. By the narrowest margin of the episode, longevity goes to Dempsey. Now let's talk about legacy. Dempsey changed the perception of the American attacker. Before him, American players in England were often valued for reliability, work rate, and discipline. Dempsey brought those qualities, but he also brought flair. He tried difficult things. He played with an edge. He scored 57 Premier League goals and became a Fulham legend. Then there was Juventus. Fulham entered the second leg trailing 3-1 on aggregate. They came back, and Dempsey completed it with one of the most outrageous goals ever scored by an American in Europe. A delicate chip late in the match against Juventus. Because apparently calmly completing an ordinary comeback felt too predictable. Dempsey showed young American attackers that they could go to Europe without removing the creativity from their game. That is a massive legacy. But Donovan's impact extends across almost every part of American soccer. He starred in the country's best World Cup run of the modern era in 2002. He became the national team's all-time assist leader. He helped turn the LA Galaxy into a dynasty. Major League Soccer named its MVP award after him. And then there's Algeria. The United States was seconds away from elimination in the 2010 World Cup. Tim Howard started the counterattack. Donovan carried the ball forward. Josie Altidore crossed it. Dempsey's shot was saved. And Donovan finished the rebound. That goal did not merely win a game. It became one of the most defining moments in the history of American soccer. And notice something important about that play. Dempsey and Donovan were both essential to it. That is a perfect summary of this debate. Their legacies overlap because American soccer needed both of them. Dempsey expanded what Americans believed was possible in Europe. Donovan connected the national team, MLS, and American soccer culture during a critical period of growth. Legacy goes to Landon Donovan. The final verdict: Landon Donovan wins this comparison 4 categories to 2, but this was not a total blowout. Dempsey wins peak because of his 3-year run came against the strongest weekly competition either player faced. He wins longevity because he remained a dangerous international and club scorer late in his career. Donovan wins because his resume covers more ground. He matched Dempsey's 57 international goals while creating far more goals for teammates. He collected more international honors. He played a central role for more championship teams. And his influence on the growth, both MLS and the national team, is almost impossible to separate from the history of American soccer itself. Clint Dempsey reached the higher club summit. Landon Donovan built the larger mountain. The numbers tell part of the story. The context tells the rest. Landon Donovan wins 4 categories to 2. Now it's your turn. Which category would you change? Would you rather build a team around Donovan's speed and creation or Dempsey's finishing and unpredictability? Put your answer in the comments, but remember, evidence over emotion. And in the next episode, we take another debate that has lasted for far too long and settle it one category at a time.